In recent years, neuroscientists have discovered representational drift. This is that responses to the same stimulus are unstable across time. If we see a color red on one imaging day, the response in our brain will always be the same, so very stereotypical. But if you see the same color red on a different day, there's a different response in our brain, even though we perceive it as the same color. There's of course a big question here: how can the activity be so unstable but our perception and behavior be super stable, even across years or sometimes lifetimes? Because if we learn the color red as a child, we will never forget that this is the color red. For us, this is stable across a lifetime. One thing that has been found to be stable, though, were the relationships between stimulus representations. So, to stay in the example with the colors, similar colors like red and orange will always result in similar activity patterns in the brain. Even though the activity patterns themselves, for red from one day to the next, are completely different, the relationships will be maintained. So red will always be more similar to orange than to green or blue. In our review paper, we propose that this stability of representations is preserved via statistical learning. Statistical learning was first suggested as a method how infants learn language. By being exposed to the same stimuli over and over, they are able to learn them. Traditionally, statistical learning is used to describe learning processes. Here we propose that it is also important to maintain the stability of something. Because in the brain there's lots of random things happening, so the activity patterns are changing, but then statistical learning keeps it in balance. Maybe think of it as herding cats. So the cats would be the statistical, the random elements, and the shepherd and the dogs that try to keep it in shape or keep the herd together are the statistical learning. So the two always interact with each other, and in the end we have this changing activities but stable similarities. This mechanism might also be able to explain why we forget things. So basically we override our memories, and in some cases this might not be very useful, so it's never useful to forget the birthday of your mom. But in other cases this is a very helpful strategy because our brain is not able to keep all the memories that we at some point make. It's very important, for example, to remember what you've had for dinner or lunch last time you ate, because if you feel sick, you know what not to eat anymore. On the other hand, it's not very useful to remember what you ate for dinner last week, because it has no effect anymore. And that's also why you probably can remember what you had for your last meal, but not what you had a week ago. Another thing this framework fits nicely in is boredom. Boredom is a very, very strong emotion. It's negative, but very strong. And it makes us seek experience. When we are really bored, we have no input, and then the activity patterns might diverge. But then we go out and get experience, and this experience acts as the shepherds or the dogs to keep the cats in place. For analysis of these sort of data, we need very sophisticated mathematical tools. Some years ago, it was standard to record from one neuron at a time, and then this could be on or off or have a firing rate. Nowadays, experimentalists record from thousands of neurons simultaneously. These neurons, they only record the activity, so there's an underlying network. To make sense of this, we need highly sophisticated mathematical tools like network theory or random matrix theory, and try to understand what is actually happening in the brain.